Thank you guys so much for watching. Today I am working on bringing plants indoors. We've got some low temps, low 40s coming up, and I don't want to wait too much longer. So this will be a couple day process probably. So this video you might see me in a couple different outfits. That's because it's a different day. So the stuff that's outside I am deciding between keep or toss, and what you'll see are the things that I'm going to keep. So let's go ahead and get started. So I've got this elephant ear here. I'm gonna keep that definitely gonna repot it. This Maranta here, I'm going to repot this and plant it back into its hanging basket. And then I have these two pulmonarias. I think that's how you say it. Sorry if I mess it up. These guys, I gotta find them new pots, but they need repotted and then brought indoors for winter. They're not cold hardy here in zone 6A. And then I'm not sure. I have some plants in the screen and porch that need to come in also. But let me just check the garage to see if I have two pots for those. If not, I'll just have to repot them and plant them back in there. Containers, which I don't want to do because I know they're ready for another pot. So let's go check the garage real quick. I prefer to put them in plastic just because they are outdoor plants that will be moved out every single season. I just want them in something that is lightweight and easy. So let's check up here in the garage. See if I got any. Oh, I see something already. Okay. Don't mind the mess up here. I plan to get organized. We get organized, or I get organized like at least once a year, and then it turns into chaos. Like, so all this stuff over here is like trash, things that need to go. And then this stuff here is like disorganized. Well, this is sort of organized. Chaos here. I got my chicken coops. I have some raised beds over here. I have the run for the Nestera coop that I'm using, but I'm using a different run for it. I was trying to build something and gave up on it. And then over here is like, I have another chicken coop right there. And then I have like garden stuff over here, stuff that I need to go through. But once this side is cleared out, then I'll be able to like reorganize and shuffle some things around to that side. But yes, anyways, I think I want to use these two here, these big ones. I'm gonna take these little guys out. These look perfect for the pulmonar, I don't know. These two look perfect for those plants. They'll do well in here. So let's head back down and get started on replanting. Oh, I also need a pot for the elephant ear, and that one I'll do a little bit more. I want a more decorative pot for it, so like terracotta or something else. Because it is a house plant, it may not go back outside next summer. So I just want something that looks nice. I'm looking at those two terracotta pots over there. I also kind of like this gray pot right here. Let's see if there's any spiders on it, because the stuff gets covered in spiders. Ugh, that terracotta is nice too. Put this down here. I have so much stuff to do, but I like to do my reorganizing in the winter time when there's nothing else to do out here. I like to come out here and do that. Okay, this looks nice. I wonder if it's too big though. I don't like to overpot my elephant ears. Do I have a hole at the bottom of this? This doesn't even have a drainage hole, so I'm gonna leave it. I don't feel like drilling any holes right now. I remember what I had in there, and it was a pothos, and it did pretty well for a while, and then after a while, the fact that there wasn't a drainage hole was made very obvious. So, all right, I'm gonna take this for it. All right, let's head back out. So I've got everything I need to get started. Soil, I'm using worm casing compost. Got my plants in my pots, and we're gonna attack this like an assembly line to get it done as quick as possible. So all I'm trying to do is remove any pests that I see and remove any debris and weeds that may have sprouted up in these plants while they spent time outside. If I see any bugs, I'm removing them. If I see any weeds, I'm pulling them, pulling anything out that just does not go with this plant. This alocasia had such a tiny root system, probably due to root rot from overwatering, so it's going to stay in its same pot. It does not need to be potted up to a larger size. So I'm going to take the smaller plumeria and pot it into its sister's pot because it is pretty much one size larger, and I don't want to go any bigger for these plants, especially since they're going inside for winter. They probably won't fill out these pots before going back out in the spring. So I refinished potting all of these. I didn't end up using that because this had basically there wasn't enough roots, I felt, to fill up this pot, so I repotted it back into there, and hopefully this winter it'll push out a lot of growth and do some great things for me, but we'll see. These pulmonarias are about 4 years old, and from what I read, they don't typically bloom till year 7, so we've got some time with them. But let me go ahead and get my neem spray. I usually use a systemic in the soil when I bring plants in. I don't have any right now, so that's why I did like more than I usually would tear up the root system, just to get any bugs that may be in those roots higher up in the soil line from the bottom. So that's why I don't typically do that. I don't like to tear up a root system like that, but since I didn't have any of the systemic, I wanted to get as many bugs out as possible. And then I am going to go ahead and spray the leaves. Everybody's got a good fresh bit of soil. They've got worm casing. So let me get my neem, and let me show you, I got this on clearance from Walmart, and it is a big neem jug. So I've got this neem max, and let me see, do I have a smaller thing? Because I'd rather not open that if I didn't have to. Nope. Wait, what's this? Dead bugs. Okay, I'll use this. It's already open, so I'll just spray this on my plants. Now you'll want to wet the leaves all the way down with this spray and allow the leaves to dry out. So I'll leave these plants out here. I am going to water them out here and allow them to drain before I bring them all the way inside. When you're using a pest treatment, you want to make sure that you're spraying the front of the leaves, the back of the leaves, the tips. You want to spray all around. I also like to spray the stems as well, and then down just to the very top of the soil. I feel like that really has good coverage for pest control. Now we're moving on to a plant that has been in my screened-in porch. I am spraying the Leaf Shine by Miracle-Gro on this plant to clean up the leaves and give it a little bit of shine. This plant was rinsed off when it was outdoors. I cleaned it off, hosed it down, had it in the screened-in porch for a few weeks, and it still got dirty again, so I'm cleaning it off with the Leaf Shine. The Leaf Shine is good for helping to remove those water spots. It doesn't completely remove them, but it does help, and it makes the leaves look so shiny and pretty. I love using it for a lot of plants. If it's anything fuzzy, don't use leaf shine on fuzzy plants. It will probably destroy that fuzz, so you definitely don't want to do that. I'm adding gnat traps to all of my plants just because they've been outside. You never know what is lingering. Giving this ficus a nice spot in front of a window. I don't know if it'll stay here all winter, but this is definitely a great starting point for this plant, especially since I still have to rearrange everything to make sure all plants get enough light during winter. Winter, the light can be lacking in my home. I'm giving my fiddle leaf fig a big chop. I have a love-hate relationship with this fig because I don't like the way it grows. I don't like when you have a tree that just goes straight up. You know, I like branching, so I've been chopping this fiddle leaf fig for several years, trying to get really good branching on it, and I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy with how small the leaves are, and I know in part that this is my fault. I kind of set this plant in a corner in the house and water it when I remember, so I'm gonna give it another chance. We'll see how it does this winter. We're working on some more plants now. I believe this plant is an Alocasia Regal Shield. I have two of these. This is what I think they are, but we're working on getting that soil taken off, getting the bugs pulled out, getting the weeds pulled out. Make sure you guys are looking in the cracks and crevices of your plants for bugs hiding, for leaves hiding. Cracks are great places for bugs to hide and debris to get stuck. So make sure you guys are checking those. So I just finished working on my little alocasia, repotted it, took some of the soil away off the top, and then potted in fresh new soil with worm casing. So now it's time to work on my big alocasia and get this ready to bring in. It's right here, this baby. Look at that huge pot. So we're not changing pots on this plant, but I am gonna take it out, zhuzh up the soil, remove any weeds, try to get rid of any bugs, colonies of bugs. You never know what you're gonna find when you pull a plant out of the pot that's been sitting outside all season long. So we're just gonna try to eliminate anything that does not belong, put it into some fresh soil, and stick it back in the pot. This is one of my biggest plants that I have. I have 3 plants that are big, and I'm kind of getting over the big plant thing because they take up so much space and require so much more light and resources than any other plants. But I do plan to keep this alocasia. I have another plant that I'm not sure I'm going to keep yet. I'm still trying to decide. I just don't know. It just takes up so much space and always has issues during the winter. Not this alocasia, but the other plant does. So as you can see here, I'm removing anything that's unnecessary. You can see the leaves coming down. There definitely were some roly-polies in here that were trying to make this plant their home, but they gotta go. I've been taking the leftover soil and adding it to my raised beds. This is perfect to do. It's outdoors. It's just perfect. Instead of putting in my compost bin, I prefer to do it this way now, just because that soil gets a second life right away as opposed to having to compost in or going into regular flower beds. it'll help me build up my soil in the raised bed. So I like doing it this way. Doing a leaf check, and I'm seeing what looks like spider mite issues. So we're definitely going to take care of that. We're going to cut off any leaves that are unnecessary, severely damaged, and or yellowing out and dying, and then we're going to go ahead and treat this plant. Upon looking further at the leaves, I didn't see any spider mites, but I'm going to go ahead and spray it down with the leaf shine, which will also wipe away. If there is anything, it will wipe that away, and I'll just keep an eye on it. I don't like to over treat plants or treat plants that don't necessarily need to be treated, so we'll definitely keep an eye on this. But you guys know it's an elephant ear. They are prone to spider mites, so don't be surprised if yours has any. I'm not going to be surprised if mine actually has any, but I will treat heavily if I do actually see them. I'm going to squeeze this girl in between the piano and the fish tank temporarily until I find a good spot for her. She needs bright and direct light. The smaller alocasia is going to get a leaf bath in the kitchen sink. This is where I like to take the smaller plants that I can fit in the sink, wash their leaves, and do any sort of treatment that you need on them, because it's so easy to clean up in the kitchen as opposed to, you know, in the living room or on the floor somewhere. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. The keys to bringing your houseplants inside is you want to bring them in before your first frost or before your temperatures drop below 46 degrees. You want to make sure you're cleaning off that foliage, getting into all the cracks and crevices, pulling out any leaves, cutting off anything that's dead, damaged, or diseased. As far as the soil, you'll want to replace most of the soil, not all. What you don't want to do is take the entire root ball and remove all of the soil. You don't have to do that. But you have to know that bugs are a part of nature, and having your plants outside for the summertime, you're going to have stuff in there that you can't see. But taking all of the soil off of your plant, you risk that plant becoming so severely stressed that it just doesn't even survive for you. So I like to take off as much soil as needed and then repot it back into a new container that is one size bigger than the last container, unless you lose a good portion of your root ball and you feel like that plant can go back into the same pot, then go ahead and do that. Trying to think what else did I do. I usually use a systemic where that goes on top of the soil. You mix it in, and then when you water it in, your plants take that systemic up, and any bugs except for spider mites that actually suck on the juices of the leaves and the stem, that systemic will kill those bugs for you. But for some reason it does not affect spider mites, and I don't know if it's because maybe they don't bite down deep enough or what, but that's for pests other than spider mites. And I like to use it for leaf miners and thrips, things like that. but I don't have any right now. When I do get some, I'll just sprinkle it on top of the soil. So it's not like something that can stop you from getting your plants inside. The main thing is just cleaning off that foliage, use a pest spray if you want to, and changing out some of that soil. Give your plants a little refresh before winter and they should be good. Let me know if you guys have any more questions about bringing your plants inside for winter. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.